We'd like to bring you one more reaction on the statement made by the president concerning the upcoming elections on Saturday. And that's coming from the presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party, Mr. Atiku Abubakar. In a statement by his media aide, Frank Shaibu, Atiku Abubakar said Buhari's statement was incitement to electoral violence and an offense, adding that the president's statement is a total disregard for the country's law. The statement reads, "We were shocked to hear General Buhari live on national television threatening to kill people for an offense where no such prescription exists under law. The last time we looked, the death penalty was not a sanction of the 2010 Election Act. In fact, threatening people with death in the context of an election is incitement to electoral violence, which is an offense under that act." End of quote. In other news, no fewer than 5 houses and cars have been destroyed by suspected political thugs in Iganga in Atakumosa East, a local government area of Osun State. It's not unconnected with the rescheduled presidential and National Assembly elections. We gather that there have been incessant attacks within the state, but no deaths have been recorded. The APC and the PDP trade blames over the attacks. The State Commissioner of Police, Abiodun Ige, visits the area for an on-the-spot assessment. Time for business news now. Here's Anne Mawudo.
Thank you very much, Amarachi, and welcome to Business News. Nigeria's financial market has been reacting to the rescheduling of the country's general election dates by the Independent National Electoral Commission over the weekend. The postponement hit the country's dollar-denominated sovereign bonds as bids fell slightly at the start of this week, and there are concerns that it could affect demand at the federal government bonds auction, which is scheduled for Wednesday this week. Meanwhile, at the interbank currencies market, the naira dropped by 0.14% to 358.20 against the dollar. At the parallel market, it dropped 362.07 at the investors and exporters forex window and 306.80 at the spot market. Analysts are saying that the election delay could disrupt Nigeria's economic and market rebound as market players continue to weigh the impact of political risks on their investments. A call has now been made to exempt Bureau de Change operators from paying added tax and commission of turnover. The president of the Association of Bureau de Change Operators of Nigeria, Mr. Aminu Gwadabe, made the call in Lagos. He says the BDC sector is confronted with many challenges, including multiple exchange rates, illegal international money transfer, porous international borders, amongst other challenges. Meanwhile, Mr. Gwadabe says the APCON has created an automation portal aimed at enhancing BDC's compliance with set regulations and to promote market integrity. And outside our shores, South Africa Airways has announced plans to break the struggling state-owned carrier with 3 business units as part of restructuring the plan. The company's chief executive officer, Jorana, who made this announcement in Johannesburg, says the firm will split into domestic, regional and international business units, each with its own management. The struggling carrier is also close to receiving a 5 billion rand, and that's about $257 million loan from banks, as it faces a debt of 92 billion rand, that's about $653 million in March this year. South African Airways is giving a 5 billion rand bailout last year to shore up its balance sheet, but it has not made profit since 2011. Japanese car maker Honda is set to announce the closure of its only British car plant in 2022 and cut about 3,500 jobs as the deadline for Brexit gradually approaches. A British Conservative lawmaker, Justin Tomlinson, who voted for Brexit in 2016, says that he had met with the business minister and representatives from Honda, who has confirmed the plan. Honda's announcement, which is the latest blow to the UK car industry, comes just over 2 weeks after rival Japanese car maker Nissan cancelled plans to build a sport utility vehicle in the country. Japan has repeatedly warned that it could pull investments in Britain, which is seen as a gateway into Europe, and that's if London does not secure a Brexit deal favourable for trade. Let's come back here to Nigeria. Renewed concerns over Nigeria's political climate dampened investor sentiment in the start of the 3rd trading week in the month of February after sustaining a 2-week bull run. Meanwhile, analysts are forecasting that there will be cautious trading in the coming sessions ahead of the election. Chimezie Obiwago has the details.
Thank you, Anne, and welcome to the Stock Market Report. What we have seen today at the equities market is what most economic analysts call the reputational cost of the election postponement, as confidence of investors, both those already in and those hoping to come in, seem to have been eroded. The market was red all through the trading session, and at the sound of the closing gong, this is where the index landed, down almost 2%. Investors' apathy were felt across all sectors of the market, but look at the sectors that took the beating the most. The banking sector down 3.21%, with GT Bank dropping by almost 4%. The oil and gas was next, almost 3% in the red. This is attributed to the losses recorded by Total and Double One, formerly known as Mobil. And the third was the consumer goods sector. In all, over 3.36 billion naira was realized from the exchange of about 233.4 million shares in 4,134 deals. Though the market is highly unpredictable, the general consensus now is that this cold shoulder towards Nigerian stocks will continue until perhaps after the election. And that was the Stock Market Report. I'm Chimezie Obiwago. Back to you, Anne.
And that's business news for tonight. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Anne Nwawade. The rest of the news at 10 continues with Amarachi.
You first. First Bank.
Thanks a lot, Anne. On the foreign scene, U.S. President Donald Trump has condemned what he calls illegal and treasonous behavior, an illegal coup attempt by former acting FBI Director Andrew McCabe. He was responding to an interview in which the former acting FBI chief said talks had been held in 2017 about invoking a clause that can remove a president deemed unfit. Let's turn now to Joyce Ohaja in our London studio for more.
Good evening. The UK's main opposition party has been thrown into turmoil following the resignation of 7 members of parliament. They've quit over leader Jeremy Corbyn's approach to Brexit and anti-Semitism, saying Labour has been hijacked by the machine politics of the hard left. Danny Vucinovic reports.
Rumours of pending resignations had the Labour leader on the defensive.
Good morning, how nice to see you all here this morning. Good morning, how nice to see you, and goodbye. What's your message to MPs who might resign, Mr. Corbyn?
It didn't take long for confirmation to come through. 7 of his members announcing they've quit the party, describing it as a difficult but necessary decision.
I cannot remain in a party that I have today come to the sickening conclusion is institutionally anti-Semitic. The leadership has willfully and repeatedly failed to address hatred against Jewish people within its ranks. I am leaving behind a culture of bullying, bigotry and intimidation.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Their departure also highlights growing frustration over the Labour leader's reluctance to change his Brexit strategy.
The Labour Party we joined, that we campaigned for and believed in, is no longer today's Labour Party. We did everything we could to save it, but it has now been hijacked by the machine politics of the hard left.
The members will now sit as independent lawmakers. They're calling on other disillusioned politicians to join them.
British politics is now well and truly broken. And in all conscience, we can no longer knock on doors and support a government led by Jeremy Corbyn or the team around him.
Labour has condemned the move, fearing it could trigger a second wave of resignations, seriously hurting the party at the next election. Danny Vucinovic, Channels Television News.
4 Indian soldiers and a civilian have been killed in a gun battle in disputed Kashmir. The latest bout of violence comes as authorities search for suspected members of an Islamist militant group following last week's suicide bombing. In Pakistani-administered Kashmir, demonstrators marched against the alleged harassment and beating of Kashmiri students in India. Their anti-Modi banners also carried pictures of Saudi Arabia's Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, who's on a state visit to Pakistan. They're demanding his help and intervention in the disputed region. The prince, who's also known as MBS, was given the country's highest civil award during his stay. The trip, which kicks off his tour of Asia, is seen as an attempt to rebuild his reputation after the murder of Saudi critic and journalist Jamal Khashoggi. The Crown Prince ordered the immediate release of more than 2,000 Pakistani prisoners being held in the kingdom. Investment agreements worth $20 billion were also signed.
We believe that Pakistan has a huge potential in the future. It could be one of the biggest 20 economy in the future. I believe easily if the effort of the leadership of the people of Pakistan and their allies come together, definitely it can reach that one day. So because of that, we believe in Pakistan, because of the long relation, because of our brother in Pakistan, we want to be part of that journey.
A British teenager who's trying to return to the UK after joining Islamic State has given birth to a boy. Shamima Begum says people should show her sympathy, and she's prepared to go to prison if the country allows her to come back. The 19-year-old left London with 2 friends 4 years ago. Her family's lawyer says she's damaged and will need mental health support. In the US, an investigation could be launched into an alleged coup to remove Donald Trump from office. Senator Lindsey Graham has promised a hearing following claims that top officials from the FBI and Justice Department discussed invoking a rare constitutional move. And finally tonight, Dolly Parton was greeted with a standing ovation as she took to the stage in London's West End for the official opening of 9 to 5, the musical. The multiple Grammy winner delighted fans as she joined the cast for the curtain call. The show is based on the superstar's 1980 film, which addresses sexism in the workplace.
Working 9 to 5.
What a way to make a living.
Getting by. It's all taking and no giving.
There's still a lot more to be done, and with the new Me Too movement and people drawing attention again for, the equal work for, equal pay for equal work and harassment in the workplace. So this is just another good way for us to shine a light on some things that need to be lit up a little.
And that's your international news around the world in 5.